Hello and welcome to the very last session of our first day of the FIWARE Smart Fest. I'm sure you've been with us the whole day, so you already learned a lot about data spaces. If not, I would recommend to still download our data spaces position paper, which one of my colleagues will for sure share in the chat also. And yes, with that, welcome to our data spaces in smart ports and coastals session. I have three guests with me today. This session will be about one of the most important revolutions in one of the most important economic sectors of the European Union, but of course also worldwide. We all know cargo shipping, for example, growth every week, every year. So yeah, I think we have a quite important topic here. And let me quickly introduce our three guests to you. We will have Manuel Martinez from the Puerto de Hueva, who he is the CTO from there. He will bring us everything from their new smart port project and also everything about data spaces that is going to be realized there. Second will be Iram Rodriguez, CEO at Hiada's Business Patterns, and he will also speak for 10 minutes about data spaces in smart ports and coastals. I'm really excited for his presentation. And last but not least, we will have Stefano Negrini from Italy, Data Spaces and Smart Ports, React Now. The company he just founded is Relog3P, trying to bring the smart ports and smart logistics sector a little bit more into the direction, or completely more into the direction of the Sustainable Development Goals. So also a really nice approach. I'm really happy to have you here today. We only met a few weeks ago during the Data Spaces Business Alliance event. And yeah, with that, my friend, please start your presentation. And thank you all for being here with us today.
Okay, thank you, Max. I'm going to share my presentation. Okay. Well, what I'm going to explain here is our project of the Lonja, La Lonja. It's a very ambitious project here in making an iHub, or in future, in the area of ports, like said Max just before. Just to put in context this project, when 2 years ago we started our strategy to how to develop our system, our internal system, the system of management the port, we decided to change the typical view of PMS and PCS system here in the ports and start a new kind of system based on FIWARE. Because we think that the more important in the future is the data, and FIWARE can give us this functionality. So we start this idea, we tender this project, and we start to develop our internal system. But once we start this development, we detect that we need a place where people can develop new solution for us, based on FIWARE, in order to integrate this in our platform or making new platforms federating with us, or using all the functionality of FIWARE. So we are starting to look how to start a new node, node of innovation, looking for all the steps of the innovation activities, ideas, acceleration, incubation, piloting, mentoring, and of course, at the end, marketing. When we do this, we start the technological innovation hub of the Port of Huelva. It's the first world hub for the complement and acceleration of FIWARE technology basis project associated with a port authority. Our idea is to make a very important innovation hub based on FIWARE to develop solution for us. And Telefónica wins this tender and is our partner in this project. Okay. We have 4 key pillars: branding and communication, adapt the physical and virtual spaces, dynamization and hub management, and integrated management, innovation, and entrepreneurship. The first point, how are we going to do this? The first point is, of course, creating our own brand. Our brand will be La Lonja. This is because we are going to install this AI hub in the second floor of the ship market here in the ship market building here in Huelva. And because La Lonja have a meaning of innovation, of activity, of business, of market. And this is exactly what we are going to find. La Lonja of the innovation. The second point is adaptation of management of the physical area. You have a very large area when we are going to install all the steps: acceleration, incubation, teletraining, showroom, certification, bricks, and we are just under works in this area. The third point is the adaptation and management of the virtual area, because we understand that we need to offer access to the data in real time, and we are going to offer to make an open data portal to all the people that will be installed here, in order that they can make their project, their activities, their developments in directly real data, not with invent data or with no real data. We are going to offer access to the real data of the port in real time. The fourth point is integrated management for the entrepreneurial ecosystem. Telefónica can give us a very large ecosystem of the management of the entrepreneurial with 11 hubs, 40 innovation spaces, and 21 we have of FIWARE. Our idea is to integrate this large ecosystem to be one more and in the typical sector, in the new sector of ports. The fifth point is the selection of the methodology. We are going to select the projects in two different steps by public tenders, and we are going to do directly from the Port Authority of Huelva, and by the Open Future platform of Telefónica. We are using these two different ways for the code management. The sixth point is the support of the life cycles of ideas and project, giving all the people that will be installed there all the complete services from the very beginning for the ideas to the end, to the market. We are going to give support for the whole life cycle of ideas. The seventh is dynamization, ensuring that things happens. Telefónica is an expert here, and I think it's a very, very important partner for this project, perhaps the best partner that we can find. I'm sure that they are going to ensure this. The eighth one is dissemination for projects and idea, creating positioning, branding, valuable content, and so on, participating in forums and demand, and make sure that in future events like this, we are going to offer and show projects that are going to happen here in Huelva. The ninth one is researching and proposing of support initiative, finding ways to invest in this kind of project, such as South Summit, 4YFN, Alhambra Venture, Startup, and so on. And Telefónica is very expert here in this point. The 10th is technical management. Will be a hub director for ensuring the correct functioning of the center and guaranteeing the fulfillment of the center objectives. The 11th, expert market analysis. We are looking for a partnership with Gartner in order to give us an important objective view of the market, independent of this project, looking for how is the state of the art. The 12th is the action plan with the strategic KPIs, event participation plans, and business attraction, and so on. The 13th It's environmental management system. It's very important for us, the environmental, and it's including in the whole life cycle of the projects. And the most important is the last, the 14th, is promotion and innovation culture in the Port of Huelva and the port community. We are looking how to change the internal culture and make the Port of Huelva in an innovation port. The space, the physical space, is the second floor of the ship market, like I said, is just on the works, and is in areas for incubation, for acceleration, for pilots, for meetings, for showroom. So we expect that the works will be finished at mid of February. The first calling will be at the end of February. So it's a very small view of our project, Max. This is my contact data, and if anyone can contact me, I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think it's a great project. We are, of course, happy to see the worldwide first smart port hub in Huelva. And yes, maybe we can even join you there for event once. I'm really looking forward to it. And yes, all the best for the project. And with that, we will go on with the CEO of Hiada's Business Patterns, Iram Rodriguez. And yeah, please start sharing your screen and go on.
Okay, good afternoon. I'm going to share the screen. Okay. Thank you for the opportunity to present the e-Green Port project oriented to data sharing for environmental monitoring in smart ports, particularly in the seaside of the port. Well, Hydes is the coordinator company of e-Green Port project. We are a software provider focused in digital solutions in maritime areas with projects in more than 20 ports. Without going into deep, I want to tell you about the strategy that we are following in the smart port platform. On one hand, we are focusing on help ports operators in their digitization. Some solutions are for port controls, pilots, moorers, tugboats companies, and MARPOL-related companies. With this digitization, we firmly believe in the use of standards for data exchange between these operators, creating data space and shared situation awareness. Globally, the market value of marine and coastal resources is estimated about 5% of global gross domestic product. More than 3 billion people depend on marine and coastal biodiversity for their livelihoods. But current pollution levels in the seas have risen since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. Some of their main indicators, like you can see in the slide, have risen or expected to increase up to 26% by 2050. According to SDG 14, the European Seaport Organization created an environmental code of conduct instructing port administration to develop instruments that enable them to manage environmental problems. In this context, iGreen Port arises from the real need in the port of Palma, Mallorca, in which the Port Authority requests the support of Palma pilots to digitize the control of the seawater quality of the port, due to the high impact of the water pollution on Poseidonia, a Mediterranean aquatic plant which contributes to a rich marine biodiversity. iGreen Port Data Space is oriented to share two types of data taken almost in real time: the quality of the seawater and the IS data, which provide information about the vessel and port traffic, the main factor which can impact in the water quality. These data sets will be shared with the consortium entities, which will use this data and add value to them, thus creating several new data packets and services aimed to both consortium entities and external clients, such as port authorities. And where do the data come from? Well, real-time AIS data are received through a hardware receiver that collects it, and the water data are received by a sensor installed on the boats of Palma pilots, which is the best platform for this purpose because, as we can see at the bottom right of the corner, these bots are in continuous movement in the port and therefore ensure a complete and frequent sweep of all areas. This screenshot corresponds to the real movement of a pilot bot only for 5 hours. Why trusted data sharing is needed? Currently, the information handled in port sector is used to be transferred one-to-one between port actors without real-time information, duplicated information with many communication by radio or email, and with a lot of paper in such communication. Efforts are being focused on the concept of port CDM, in which information between all stakeholders is shared in real time, paperless, and fewer radio calls. The environmental perspective has been one of the greatest forgotten so far. So iGreenPort is a pioneering initiative which will allow a more efficient and intelligent monitoring with a reduction of resources needed. Well, in the consortium, we have several companies, all of them in a particular area of expertise and with different roles, such as data consumers and data providers. FIWARE experts like MNX Online joined the project to help us in the design of the project. Palmas Pilot is a data consumer of Marketplace. Them, with their own pack quality certification system, will allow a highly improved service to the port authority for sure. iGreenPort experiment improves data exchange through FIWARE powered platform with an A4 Trust Marketplace. The easier specification related to access protecting and access tracking are met by implementation of KROC EDM that will act as an authorization registry together with policy decision point, policy enforcement point, and an API umbrella in order to provide security and several analysis. eShare will enable to validate whether participants sharing data in the iGreenPort data space are trusted organizations. The marine device for data collection will be installed in the Palmas Pilot bot in order to send the raw data to the OR context broker, and ICE data follows a similar way as those for water quality. This figure is important, represents the data value chain in the iGreenPort experiment, where the data transfer goes from left, where there are some data providers, to the right, they are the data consumer. At each level, the companies consume data, process them, and add high value, creating new data package and service. And some of them, for example, at level 2, you can see Playon provides data package of processed ICE data. At level 3, HIDES provided ship identification of traffic density, reconstruction of port status, and vessel information in case of anomalies of water quality. At level 4, Canary creates real-time dashboards and port characterization models based on water quality historical data. The competence in prevention and control of emergencies due to maritime pollution in the service area of the ports are assigned to the port authorities. For this reason, iGreenPort results are oriented to them. Well, talking about FIWARE data space, the next one that we want to integrate is Earth observation with satellite imaging to detect not only water quality, but also oil spills. This product will be a Murasi developed with the company Orbital EOS. The risk of oil spill is especially relevant in ports because the high concentration of maritime traffic and oil terminals. And it's a really great opportunity because the segment of monitoring and surveillance technologies are on rise. In this case, we fed our smart port data space, Aurora, using machine learning or satellite imaging processing. If the machine learning models detect oil spills, the system sends notice and warnings to our solution and then to the port authority. In this screenshot, you can see a conceptual use of it is our control board solution. Well, finally, the system is aimed to the collaborative monitoring of the seaside in the port areas. Well, thank you very much for your attention. I hope you like those projects.
Yes, actually a really interesting project and also presentation, a great vision with the satellites doing the or controlling the water quality. I think fulfilling these sustainable development goals is important in any way, and water is a really rare and important resource. So yeah, that actually already brings us to our next speaker, who is Stefano Negrini, who is CEO and founder of Relog3P. And yeah, his presentation has the name Data Spaces and Smart Ports, React Now. And yeah, we will also hear at least something about sustainable development goals. That's what I'm sure about, but what especially it will be, I also don't know. So enjoy the presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Max, indeed. And thanks to FIWARE to have invited us to the event. Although, as you mentioned, we are a very young startup. In fact, we just founded the startup, and that's a bit of introduction. That's where we started. We do aim to give our contribution for the logistic and the ports to help the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals set by the United Nations. So today we do see logistic as many other fields being a non-collaborative and silos-based business, and that's automatically brings to several impacts which are under the eyes of all of us. And I just would like to point out that lately, unfortunately, due to the COVID, we all see the impact that logistic is suffering or is creating because of these problems in within the chain. So what is our vision is that we believe logistics has to completely change and become a collaborative, transparent, and open field where basically this would allow the field to be more sustainable, meaning that the business will not look only at the profit side, but consider constantly the societal and the environmental aspects as well in order to achieve the development goals. In this specific case, we are here to speak about data spaces and smart ports. So let's see how we in Relog3P see this possible to happen. We are creating actually a collaborative platform which we call React. And this platform aims to basically bring together the stakeholders of the logistic chain that we see that now are, as mentioned, being seen as a silos and acting as a silos. So getting a bit more into the data spaces and smart ports topic, I like to share these slides where I borrow one of the sketches from Matthias Kwon, which also presented early today. Basically, we all understand that we do have the physical assets, regardless the business, which creates data, and then we need to try to come out with values from these data through their correlation, usage, interpretation, and from there create value throughout services and products. So this is a bit the base where we say we want to put also this data available for other people, for other businesses to improve their environmental and sustainability aspects. So that's what we see in Relog3P, also in relation with the smart sports data spaces, where the assets creating the data throughout all the sensoring are brought to our React platform, and from there, by means of elaboration with artificial intelligence, machine learning, to name a few, then we create our product and services to serve the smart port data space improvement. Here we steal also a slide from FIWARE. Basically, what we just mentioned related to the smart ports data spaces, in fact, it is a piece of a much wider picture, moving first of all from the port itself to the smart logistic ecosystem, where we do have ports, shipping, cargo, rails, and basically this ecosystem can be represented not only from the indeed physical assets, but throughout their digital representation, the digital twin representation. Then we can even enlarge further and see the logistic as part of the global wider data space, which contain as well energy, cities, infrastructures, and so on. So our idea is all of them, including the smart spots, clearly throughout the digital representation, are a tool to achieve the targets that we look at. Now, before concluding with our presentation, we want to highlight one specific aspect. So lately, more and more, the ports are not to be considered pure logistic hubs, but also entities that has a very tight correlation with cities. Most of all in Europe, that's true, because ports, cities grows around ports. But also we relate very much the ports to the energy part, energy ecosystem, and the data ecosystem itself. So we have a very wide network of data infrastructure flowing around the world, and ports are where these data land, and then from where we move on. So we food for thought for all of us is to consider the port hub, the smart ports, also in relation to this kind of ecosystem as well. So running up, we said that as a Reloc 3P throughout our platform React, we are working in order to build product and services which, based on data, may bring benefit to our partners and customers, and by the creation of smart port data spaces, which then fall automatically and naturally in logistic and business ecosystem, we believe we can achieve a number of benefits, which I will not go through, but throughout all day presentation, we heard about standardization, data sovereignty, openness. So that's also what we are aiming. And we do believe that these are all pieces, bits and pieces, that will allow us to collaborate all together in the achievement of these sustainable development goals. So coming back to the beginning, as you mentioned, Max, we are a very young startup, and we are aiming to launch our platform in 3 months' time, in 4 months' time, mid of May. So hopefully we have teased a bit the audience, and if you all are interested to learn more, to get updated from all of us, here are our references. Yeah, we thanks again, Max, FIWARE, for this opportunity, which we believe is very important. We hope to be able to contribute as well as a company to these targets we are aiming for.
Yeah, Stefano, thank you so much for your presentation. We are happy to have you, and I'm really excited about how your project goes on, and I'm sure you will find some other companies or organizations inside the FIWARE community to work together in achieving what you want to achieve, really making the realization of these sustainable development goals happening. And with that, that was our last presentation of the day. And I have a special guest here with me to say some words again. Ulrich, please hand over for tomorrow.
First of all, Max, thank you very much for the excellent moderation for this session and during the day. And thank you very much to the logistics team. Logistics is somehow something like to the ports team. Sorry, it's a combination of logistics, smart city, of energy, of mobility, just on the water or close to the water. So thank you very much to this panel. And with this, thank you to all the contributors today, to the participants of our event today. It's been a long day. It's in the meantime 7 p.m. here in Germany and much later in Japan. Not yet that late in the US. We've had a global audience here today, and I really appreciate the energy we saw in this event today, and it is very promising for the today which is going to come tomorrow. Because tomorrow we'll have another day fully packed of information. We will dig deeper into the data spaces, building blocks, into the technology, but also in our community, the IHUBs will play a major role, for example. And with this, again, thank you very much to all of you, also to the technical team behind here, the cameras on site in Berlin, and have a nice evening, stay healthy, see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Dann die Session würde ich beenden.
Soll ich Endsession machen?
Ja.